Well, here we are. It's been a crazy last week and a half, to say the least. I'm sure most of you who follow me on social media know that. My post spamming. I'm more than ecstatic about this. I'm over the moon. It's ridiculous how much positivity has been just like flooding into my life. I don't know what happened. Sometimes I don't feel like I don't even deserve all these things to be happening to me, given some of the things that I may have done in the past. I don't know. I always make myself to be the bad guy in my own mind. I'm realizing now through making all these new friends and interacting with new people that some of the people that I've had around me in the past were probably not the best people for me. The types of friends that, kind of hold you back in a sense. They get jealous over, the success of people around them. I realize now that those people shouldn't be people that you consider friends. Friends should want, their friends to succeed and want them to improve and want them to be better people no matter what. That's what friends do. I'm going to go into a bit of detail on how life has been for me since the fires in 2019, since my last update video. Life was pretty rough. I fell out of a pretty long-term relationship, 3.5 years, and I moved in with a friend of mine, and I'm not going to mention any names. I feel like mentioning names here is not really important, but what is important is the things that these people taught me to kind of avoid now. Anyways, after said relationship kind of fell through, I'm not gonna lie, I did fall into a bit of a deep depression, especially moving into this friend's house. I didn't realize what I was getting myself into at the time. All I knew was I needed to not be living with my ex-girlfriend at her mom's house. That living situation was pretty bad, but little did I know I would just fall into something that was way worse. And the distance between work and my new home at the time was lengthened by this, so bus rides were longer, and COVID-19 happened. And me being on public transportation during all this was extremely scary. Me being a hypochondriac, I was constantly just washing my hands in constant fear. I'd come home to a house that was a total mess, and this was the roommate that I moved into after my ex. And I realized that this guy and the guy that he was living with, they lived very messy lives. They didn't care to clean up after themselves. The kitchen was completely inaccessible due to the amount of garbage that was everywhere all the time. I made an attempt to clean the entire house when I had moved in, but it almost got dirty again within the next, day, 2 days. And I gave up and decided, I wasn't going to be a maid for two people who were older than I was. 27, by the way. And this would play out day by day. Just constant fear from COVID-19, working obviously a full 8-hour day, not really knowing anybody because the job was new, and then coming home to a house that was an absolute pigsty, like a fucking mess. And it would kind of keep me up at night. I developed like a slight insomnia because at night I would stay up thinking like, what am I gonna do about this? What happens if for some reason something happens and I need a new place to stay? Where am I gonna go? It's just like all these negative thoughts and me ridiculing myself for decisions or things I did in the past would just flood my brain to the point in which I just couldn't sleep. I was up until 5 a.m. having to wake up at 7:30 a.m. to get on a bus at 8 a.m. and be to work before 10. These bus rides would take 2 hours out of my day to get to work. So you got, 2 hours to get there, 2 hours to get home, plus the 8-hour day. And this just slowly just started to bore a hole through my brain. I just figured that I needed to find a way or something to do that would put me to bed fast so I wouldn't have to think. So there was a big period of time where I developed a heavy drinking problem. I would just drink myself into an absolute stupor, just almost blackout, if not blackout, to sleep, just so I wouldn't have to think. I didn't care how hungover I fucking woke up. It didn't matter, as long as I could go to bed. And that's how it would be day in and day out. One particular day I was trying to catch the bus home, and I didn't always have 100% success rate in getting the bus home. Sometimes work would drag on a little longer than expected, and I would miss the bus. And anytime I would miss the bus at 6:30 after my shift had ended, I had to wait an extra 2 more hours for the next bus to come, because COVID-19 had made the buses run on a permanent weekend schedule. So one particular day I ended up missing the bus, and this was before COVID had actually hit the US. This was just as it was surfacing in China. Everybody was kind of watching. Anyways, I ended up going to the bar to wait for the next bus, and I drank a ridiculous amount of alcohol. Ridiculous. And I fell into one of those dark places in my mind, and I don't really want to scare anybody that's close to me, but I felt like at the time I had nobody to talk to, and I kept a lot of things bottled up inside, and it just festered there. And on this particular night, I fell into a depression that was so deep that I thought I wasn't going to get out of it. And I blacked out, and I ended up finding myself kind of coming to, looking over an overpass on a freeway. I was apparently very close to attempting to take my own life. I was right there, and I called the roommate that I was living with at the time, and he didn't have a job. And he didn't have a job the entire time I lived there. That's why the video is called 10 months later. That was the period of time in which I was there, and I had to support this individual with my income, because he refused to work while I was out there scared shitless. And I remember there were more than one occasion where I'd ask him politely, just like, hey, like, I know you're not doing anything, like, can you come pick me up from work? I just really don't want to deal with the 2-hour bus ride today. And sometimes you'd be like, dude, oh, I just did this, or oh, I just did this, and this, that, and the other thing. It's just like, okay, dude, whatever. It literally took me having almost committed suicide, crying on the phone. I was like, please come get me. Please get me away from here. Like, I don't want to be here right now. I need to clear my head. Like, just help me out. And that was the extreme that it took just for me to get a ride home. I laugh at it now. It feels like such a long way away. Each month in COVID time is like a year. It's ridiculous. And I suppose it was after that particular moment in time that I realized that this person that I kept as a friend, who I'd almost forced myself to be friends with because I just wanted a sense of consistency in my life, wasn't particularly the best person for me. And from that point on, I just changed everything about myself. I seemingly just exploded socially, went back to being how I used to be, just loud and obnoxious. It was no longer like I'm gonna have a mean face and scowl all the time and stay the fuck away from me. It was, I'm loud, hear me. You can't ignore me anymore. I'm here. What's up? Yo, what's happening? What up? And through that new mentality, I've met some of the coolest motherfuckers I've ever known. And I've developed friendships with these particular people that I feel are deeper than some people that I've been surrounded by for years. And it's crazy to think about It blows my mind every time. And I'm very thankful that these cool motherfuckers also think that I, myself, am a cool motherfucker. I'm glad that they're in my life. I'm so happy that everything's changed the way that it's changed. And it's crazy. It's hard to believe that where I was before is just such a dramatic difference. But I'm getting to the part where I'm just going to show you a brief glimpse of what the last house used to look like. The one that I lived in, the one that was just a trash heap. And I warn you, this is not for the faint of heart. This house is fucking disgusting, and I'm going to show you exactly how disgusting it was. This is video footage of just the bathroom, and you can only imagine what the rest of the house is like. Just trash littered everywhere, pizza boxes, like 60 of them in the kitchen, no space in the dining room, garbage bags piled high as a wall against the wall. There were places of the house that I didn't even know existed because there was garbage blocking their entry and exit ways. But being in this new place is like a truly humbling experience. So anyways, this is what the inside of the bathroom looked like. Empty, used toilet paper rolls everywhere, random odd and end things, basket that would have toilet paper rolls in it, and all these used toilet paper rolls are just a byproduct of somebody who's just there all the time with a diet that consists of mainly fast food. This is not a small individual we're talking about here, and it just would just pile up over time. We pan over here, we're looking at the ground. This is all toilet paper with things in I don't even want to know what that shit in the toilet paper is. That's his hair falling out of his head, Q-tips on the ground, brown ring across the toilet, hair drooping off the backside. You can't even see the ground. There's receipts, old shampoo bottles. There's nothing's thrown away. This is stuff that you'd have to just tiptoe around. There's a fucking, like, a can of oil shit back there. Like, I don't even know what the fuck that is. And the worst part is the roommate was a big boy. And those little particles on the toilet seat right there are from repeated ass wiping and just failing to just clean their ass. And it's just fucking gross. I wouldn't even want to use this particular bathroom, so I would avoid it at all costs. Every time this person would sit down, he would just make the toilet disgusting because he was so large he couldn't, clean his backside. That's the sink. I would tell myself over and over again that this bathroom is the epitome of what giving up on life looks like. Just zero effort. There's just no attempt whatsoever to clean anything. It's like I tried one time and I swear to God that it got this way like overnight. Just random shit everywhere. I hated going into this bathroom. I remember when I first moved in, I looked into the mirror and I cried. I'm like, this is gonna be my reality for the next God knows how long. And that's not even like the worst part. So I'm gonna show you, and again, this is not for the faint of heart, what the inside of the toilet does. This would happen every time that this particular individual would sit down. And I didn't have the heart to tell him because he was my friend, or who I thought was a friend. So anyways, I'm attempting to protect my hands here. I'm gonna open this thing. And I warned you. So now that's the fucking inside. God forbid your back ever touched the backside of that toilet seat. But if you look really closely at the outer ring of the toilet seat itself, you'll notice these little smudge marks. And we'll get there. I'm working my way around right there. Every time he would sit down, he would leave that behind him. And he would never clean it up. That was just his ass hitting the toilet would leave that. It's like, how How? Like, I don't get it. And it would happen every time. I can't even count the amount of times that I would have to try to clean off the whole entire fucking toilet before having to use it. So I just fucking stopped using this fucking toilet. But yeah, that's how fucking bad it got. Being in this new place is just fucking surreal. It still doesn't feel like it's reality quite yet. It's settling in slowly, but I just really wanted to thank all the people that are around me right now and that are in my life. I love all you motherfuckers, and I couldn't have done it without you. Really. Thank you for having such a huge impact on my life. Thank you so much.